The stock market crash of October 1929 was the symbolic moment when the American economy fell apart. And from 1929 to 1932, things just got worse and worse in the country. Farms were being foreclosed, people were losing their jobs, the value of stocks and everything else in the country declined dramatically. In that desperate situation in 1932, Franklin Roosevelt was elected by an overwhelming majority against President Herbert Hoover, who had presided over what was seen as the disaster of the previous 4 years. In his inauguration in March of 1933, President Roosevelt told the country, "Let me first assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Roosevelt also named the problems in a way that no political leader in the 21st century would do. He said, "The Depression was caused primarily because the rulers of the exchange of mankind goods had failed through their own stubbornness and incompetence." As he took office, Roosevelt began in that first 100 days a whole series of programs designed to combat the effects of the Depression. He used executive orders to overhaul the banking system. He got a reluctant Congress to pass the National Recovery Act. Probably most important and far-reaching, Congress passed the Social Security Act that guaranteed support for people in devastating circumstances and for the aging. The New Deal transformed American life, but Americans too transformed the New Deal. Organized labor played a powerful role. The National Recovery Act included a clause that said, workers have the right to organize and could not be fired for joining a union. Very quickly, some of the leaders of the American Federation of Labor decided it was time to organize a lot more workers than had been organized before. New union members took a much more radical approach to union membership. They invented what became known as the sit-down strike. Rather than walk off the job and walk onto picket lines, workers simply turned off the machinery and sat down where they were. This meant that it was very hard for companies to bring in replacement workers. It was very difficult to displace them because there was always a worry by the owners of the machinery that the machinery would get damaged. And so the sit-down strikes were very effective. And eventually the United Auto Workers Union was recognized as the bargaining agent, first at General Motors and eventually for other unions. In that process, workers gained the right to organize. They gained the right to better salaries, and they gained the right to protest when the assembly lines were sped up. At the same time, within the civil rights community, there was also new fervent during the New Deal. Americans experienced the Great Depression as a segregated country. Blacks experienced it and whites experienced it, but they both experienced it pretty much separately. And yet, civil rights leaders used the New Deal to bring about major changes. Mary McLeod Bethune became part of what was known as Roosevelt's Black Cabinet. And although President Roosevelt himself really showed relatively little interest in civil rights, Eleanor Roosevelt did push for civil rights for African Americans, and the Black Cabinet was able to bring out changes within the administration. Around the same time, too, A. Philip Randolph got Roosevelt to issue an executive order guaranteeing the rights of black workers. It was a major victory that pushed the Roosevelt administration far beyond where it wanted to go and where it would have gone without that pressure. I hope this clears up a couple things about the New Deal. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know. Have a great week.